This video I'm gonna talk about Hylics and Hylics 2, two independent video games created by the artist Mason Lindroth. These games are known for their surreal visual style, abstract storytelling, and gameplay that combines classical RPG elements with experimental ideas. My intention is to explain what makes them special and how they differ from others and why they have attracted so much attention within the indie game community. The first thing you notice when looking at Hylics is its completely unique visual style. Mason Lindroth uses scanned textures, handcrafted images, and animation that resembles motion techniques. The result is a world that looks like a combination of clay sculptures, collages, and psychedelic art. The characters have unusual shapes, with bodies and faces that appears as if they were molded by hand. The environments show wavy landscapes, heavily saturated colors, and decorations that defy any traditional visual logic. Every scene looks like a piece of experimental art. Helix 2 continues this style but with important improvements. The animations are smoother, the models have more detail, and the environment feels more open and better defined. The jump from the first game to the second is noticeable, because while the aesthetic keeps its real essence, it also shows significant technical and artistic progress. Now the story. The story of Hylics is intentionally abstract. The first game presents Wayne, a protagonist with a very particular design, whose head has the shape of a moon or a rounded balloon. His main antagonist is Gibby, a powerful figure who rules from his fortress. However, the narrative is not developed in a conventional way. The dialogues are cryptic, poetic, or completely ambiguous. Many lines feel as if they were generated randomly, which creates a sensation of disconnection from reality. The objective of this narrative is not to deliver a clear story, but to transmit emotions, imagery, and a dreamlike tone. Helix 2 begins after the ending of the first game. Wayne returns as the protagonist, this time facing a new threat called Gorflax. All through the story remains surreal. It presents a slightly clearer structure. The player receives specific missions, meets more characters, explores regions with more defined purposes. Even so, the narrative essence remains the same, a symbolic and abstract experience rather than the traditional linear story. In terms of gameplay, Hylics combines classical RPG elements with very creative decisions. The battle system is turn-based similar to many games in the genre, but accompanied by intense and stylized animations. Every move from the player and every enemy attack is represented with an unique visual effects. The abilities you learn do not always clearly explain what they do, which is part of the game's items have unusual names and often do not describe their function in an obvious way. This forces the player to experiment and learn through exploration. A distinctive detail is the use of meat as the game currency. Instead of gold or traditional experience points, the game economy uses a resource that appears organic, reinforcing the strange aesthetic of Hylics world. Okay, so we have talked a lot about the first part of Hylics, but now let's focus on Hylics 2. Hylics 2 takes the mechanics that introduce and makes many improvements. The movement is now much more free, since the player can jump, dodge, climb structures, and move more quickly through environments. This makes the exploration more dynamic and enjoyable. The maps are also larger and more varied. There are open regions that players can explore with greater freedom, and the level design has more developed structure. The battle system is still turn-based, but it's more fluid with more detailed animations and clearer visual interface. In addition, Hylics 2 includes more characters who can join the team, more abilities, and more optional missions. All of this makes the game feels bigger and deeper. Although it maintains its surreal style, the gameplay is more complete and accessible than the first title. And to almost end, the overall experience in general playing Hylics and Hylics 2 means immersing yourself in a world that follows its own logic. They do not aim to give detailed explanations or tell a fully understandable story. Instead, they focus in offering a sensory experience, striking imagery, atmospheric music, and scene that blends strictness, creativity, and imaginations. Helix 1 may feel more compact and experimental, like a smaller work that explores an artistic idea. But Helix 2, on the other hand, feels like the more ambitious version of that concept, expanding the world, the gameplay, and the narrative without losing the essence that disguises the series. Now, to exemplify this, I'm gonna put fragments of the gameplay, of the landscapes, and of the soundtrack for you to experiment a little part of these incredible games. In summary, Hylics and Hylics 2 are video games that move away from the convention and focus on delivering artistic and surreal experiences. Their unique visual style, abstract narrative, and the reinterpreted mechanics makes the standout works within independent games. For anyone who's looking for something different, creative, and visually impactful, this series is an excellent choice for you. Well, see you later.